She had to listen to me go through the early stages of learning how to sing, which is so naked and vulnerable and horrible.
Yeah. And did you produce your first song at 7? Is that true? Did you have any funny run-ins with like Elijah Wood?
Never.
Ever?
Never. I've never even heard that before.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, you want to hear the worst Harry Styles story was...
Yes.
Would you call me up just to ask how I'm doing? Could you just for once think of someone but you? Because I'm there, sincerely, who are you? I can never tell. Could you love me like you love yourself?
We good to go?
Ask me anything. I'm an open book.
Speaking of TikTok, I noticed that you have, just a few million followers, no big deal, but you're not actually that active because I went obviously.
I disappeared for like a month. I haven't been on socials for a month. And
why is that? Is that you just prepping for?
I'm literally finishing an album and I just couldn't do both. My brain doesn't work both. I'm like a huge control freak. So I just haven't. I had a song come out in Feb and I promoted it kind of pre and post for like a couple weeks. And then I just had to like disappear for a second because it takes a lot of my brain power to do.
Sure.
And it's part of the next chapter of this is I need to make it a lot more low lift for myself. Cause like I'm of the opinion, or I have been of the opinion that everything that needs to go online has to be like very curated and has to be like this whole thing and has to be like, I don't know, higher production value and like thought out and everything.
Right.
And I'm just like throwing that to the wind now because I just can't. Like it's just like the output that you require to have that. It's like you either need a team of 15 people or you need to just be yourself on the internet. And the things that are reacting, I think, on the internet now are just be yourself. Like,
I agree.
Be
Authenticity.
a human being. Film your fucking self on an iPhone. Like just make it like low key. So that's kind of the next chapter of this for me is like making sure that I can create this or have my brother, I'm hiring him to shoot content with me to be able to like edit and make it like really easy. And he's a carpenter. Like he's never done this before. And that was like my goal. It's like I want to find somebody who doesn't even know about this thing. To be able to like not create this like super high quality polished vision. It's like, let's just joke around and have fun and like make something dumb that's human and then like put it out.
I am not as proficient at social media, but what I have come to understand is like the times I'm also like you, like I'm very type A, like I need everything to look polished. I've been in this industry for so long. So that's just how I'm trained. But I do find that the videos that I don't care about and just kind of throw up do really well. And the ones that are very curated don't do as well.
Yeah. Cause people don't want to be advertised to. It's like they're advertised to all day long. So when they see like the beautiful shot, it either has to be something like this, where it's like a podcast where you're getting information or it's a music video. Like they want to be like, oh, like I like that song because the music video is kind of cool, or like they did something like interesting. Or you have to be like Billie Eilish, where it's like you're just a superstar to look at. Like you just like, oh, I am automatically bought into this thing. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like my favorite artists or my favorite like people on social media are like Jake Shane, where he's just like posting garbage, amazing quality content. Like, and it's just like the content is good, so it doesn't matter how it looks. You know what I mean? All
right. Well, we kind of started this in a weird way, but welcome to the Spout Podcast. We have your host for today, Tamara Dhia, and we have Elijah Woods here. We're going to talk all about his music and his album coming out pretty soon.
Yeah. My absence from social media.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's start at the beginning. So you did grow up in Ontario.
I did.
And your dad taught you to play guitar. Is that right? When you were really young?
He did. Yeah. I grew up in a pretty musical family. My like grandmother sang in the choir and my dad played in bands my whole life, in a Beatles cover band, as well as like he recorded his own music when he was closer to my age, and then he was in an 80s sort of like dance band as well, which is like really fun. So as I grew up with all this like amazing music surrounding me, and he was in a band with my aunt and my uncle and my other uncle and then one of their friends, and it was so cool to like grow up. Like I would fall asleep in the back of the van when they were like at a gig and like the whole thing. So this music was like ingrained in me. Yeah, it was a wild little upbringing, and then my dad taught me how to play guitar when I was like younger, because I really love Guitar Hero, and I was like, this is so cool. And I was like kind of good at it. And then I kind of just learned how to play like my favorite songs, and I got really into like metal and like hardcore stuff, because I was like, I want to like rip on the guitar. Yeah. Never actually got that good, and I could strum chords and the whole thing, but it was cool. I never thought I'd do anything with it. And I was like big into sports, because like I was from a small town and it like was not cool to make music. So I played a lot of basketball and did that for a number of years. Then I came back to music through like DJing, which was like had a huge surgence at the time. I was like starting to make music, and through that found pop music, and then through that found singing and songwriting and the whole thing. But it was pretty like nonchalant. Like it wasn't like, oh, I didn't grow up being like, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be Harry Styles on stage. Like I was like, I just like making music. And like occasionally I think I always had an ear for what I really liked, but I didn't equate it to me making it or like me creating it.
And did you produce your first song at 7? Is that true?
I don't know about 7. I think I had, it was probably around there. So like, I mean, I don't even know if I told that in an interview, but my dad had an old Roland, I think it was the first digital. I mean, actually I have his old tape machine, his 4-trap tape machine here, which is like a really sought after, it's like a Tascam. It's called a Tascam Porta 401 or 404. I can't remember the actual model name, but it's like, it's got 4 tracks on it. You recorded all the tape and then you can play it back and you can like layer stuff. And it was like one of the first
like an MPC kind of?
Not even. It's like, it's got 4 faders on it and it's got like a little tape on it that you can record like 1 layer guitar and then you go over that and you overdub it with drums and you overdub that with whatever. And then you can kind of consolidate the tracks down. So you can make as many tracks as you want. But at the time he was like trying to record himself making his original songs and like the songs are really great and like they're really, really incredible. I don't think any of them ever came out because it was like, I don't even know, the 90s or something like that. And he couldn't put them out or afford it. And then when I was a kid, I would play around with that and like just record like little guitar licks. And then there's like a recording of me and my brother playing drums and me playing the guitar. And my dad was, I think maybe on the keys or something like that. Yeah. And we recorded that song and it was like, we were called the Cabin Crew because we lived in this
Cabin Crew. That's so cute.
Yeah. And we recorded this little song and we never thought anything of it. It was just like us messing around or whatever. Yeah. And I guess that was like my first introduction to recording. I was not engineering anything. Like I plugged the guitar in and played the electric guitar and the whole thing. And I was probably like 7 to 10.
I mean, that's a lot for a 7-year-old.
It was a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think it was like, we lived in this tiny cabin. Like it was not even the size of this living room, off the grid with no running water, no power, no anything. And so we had this like little generator that would power all this stuff. And it was like, I don't know, my dad just wanted to live off the grid, so that's what we did. And it was our only source of stimulus. Like, it was like, well, it's either that or we go play outside. And it was like, well, no, I want to play with the tape machine or play the guitar or whatever it is. So it was like, it was out of necessity. It's like we didn't have a PlayStation, so I was like doing that.
That's so fascinating. So, I mean, from there to Los Angeles, I can imagine it's like a big leap.
Yeah, my bougie ass. I think, I don't know. I think growing up with limitations and with kind of boundaries, like I wouldn't say we grew up like poor. I never struggled for food. My mom owned a bakery and my parents are separated. So I kind of had this juxtaposition of I would go to my mom's place and we had like a shower and like that whole thing. Okay. And then we go to my dad's place and we'd have like, I don't even know if you know what like a mandi is, but it's like in India, that's how they shower is like they'll have like a bucket of water, handheld water, whole thing. So he would have that. And it was like these like weird little like, these weird little quirks about how I grew up that like we didn't have a lot, but we had enough and we were always like taken care of and very well loved in the whole thing. So I think growing up with those limitations, I realized as like a young adult, it was like, I need to create a world where I can experience the excess of life. And like, I think living in Los Angeles is one of those things. And I've always had these goals of like making my career or making myself larger than the thing that I came from. And I think this is an extension of that really.
Yeah. So what does your dad think about you? I mean, the little kid from age 7, you know, playing with this track to all the way now having a successful music career, living in Los Angeles.
He's really proud.
Yeah.
Both my parents are very proud and they're both, they've always been very supportive. I think like when I told my mom I was dropping out of school to be a musician, she was like, no, that's crazy. You're like on a path and you're going to go be a physiotherapist or whatever the hell I was going to be. And yeah, my dad's so sweet. I went to Asia last year, and he was just not able to go just because like it's so expensive to fly around Asia and the whole thing, and like I can't afford it. And he watched every single YouTube video of like all of my live performances, and he's like, "Oh, like tonight, one of your songs sounded really, really great," or like, "Oh, your voice sounds really good on Where We're Going Tonight," like, and like this whole thing. And he would send me notes like as I was going through it, and it was really cool because I feel like we always related on the music thing because like I always really appreciated his talent. He's a very talented guitarist and drummer and singer. So we always kind of related to on that. But in my early days of my career, I kind of like put it at an arm's length in terms of like I didn't want to make dad rock music. I didn't want to make band
Right.
music. I was like, I
Yeah.
want to be cool and edgy and like unique and whatever. And I came back to it full circle where I was like, oh, the things that I learned as a child are the things that I really value. And the songs that I heard as a child are the things that actually like shaped my opinions on music. So I think we relate a lot there now. With the music and like with the creation of the music thing. So we have like a great repertoire with those songs. Yeah.
And your first major moment in the spotlight came from winning the Canadian singing competition, The Launch.
Hell yeah.
And the double platinum success of Ain't Easy with Jamie Fine.
Late at night when I need more you. All damn night and I need more you. Take me away. Take me away. See, loving you ain't easy.
So how did that experience help shape your approach to your career?
I think it was like a crash course in the music industry. I think we experienced a lot very fast. I was just in a songwriting session the other day talking about what it's like to skip a bunch of steps in your career and then to have to go back and like redo those things that you like skipped effectively. Because I don't think there's a way to like fast track anything. Like even if you have overnight success, you have to go back and build the fan base and you have to do the whole thing. And that's kind of what that was for us. We'd been making music together in the band for a couple years, limited success. We put out a couple songs on Spotify. I think one of them did like 1 million plays in a couple months or something like that. And we're like, oh, this is it for us. We're like superstars.
Yeah.
I was living in Perth at the time, which is like this tiny little town in Ontario. It's like 6,000 people, and I had a studio in my basement. We were recording all this music and whatever, and then we got found by the TV show, and Jamie and I had like met at college, and we became really close friends. And we were just kind of making whatever music we wanted to. We didn't think about ourselves as like a pop duo. We didn't even think about branding ourselves really. Like it wasn't until my manager or our manager came on, he was like, oh, this could be a duo. You guys could be a band, this whole thing. And then soon after that, we got approached by this TV show. And we were like, we're not going to go on a TV show. Like, what are we going to do? It was like, I'm a producer. I wasn't singing at all at that point. And she's a phenomenal singer. And we had all these songs that were like, it's not really like Canadian radio music or even really pop music. Like I didn't really know what it was. We didn't know anything about ourselves at that point. I was very young, and we were on this TV show, and it gave us this like huge hit song. And especially in Canada too, I think it did something here. Like I think it went to like number 35 on the radio or something. And that was like out of this world success. I had no clue what that would even mean. And through that we got signed and we started working with Ryan Tedder, which was incredible. Yeah. And I found out later actually that song was, Ain't Easy was a song that just didn't get cut for Camilla's album. So Camilla on the album with Havana and It's You, Babe, Consequences, I think it's called. And Ain't Easy was a song that didn't get cut on her album. So it was Camilla and Ryan and a few other really talented writers that he had brought to the TV show, and we got to record the song, which is so cool. And we'd never done that before. We'd never recorded somebody else's song. I like reproduced a bunch of stuff. It was so weird. And it effectively like launched our career and gave us like a huge radio smash in Canada, gave us a bit of money in our pocket. We signed this deal, and then everything just fell apart. And it was like our relationship fell apart. Our record label fell apart. We started like not liking the music that we really liked. We had a couple amazing years of like success in the whole thing. And then it just kind of just didn't feel like us anymore. And we had creative differences, and then we decided to just take a step back from it. And it was like so great because we both got to experience this industry. I mean, I can't speak for her, but we both got to experience this industry in a way where it's like we were signed to Republic in a joint venture with Big Machine, and we got bounced around a lot. We got to experience like what it's like for somebody else to collect your master royalties and have a song on the radio and what that money looks like, and being with a manager and having creative direction or having creative differences and the whole thing. And it was so invaluable for me to learn that at that age, where during, I think it was 2019 or something, and I was kind of shaping up to be Elijah Woods, the solo artist. I had this like weird crash course in the music industry where it was like, oh, I don't want to do that because that didn't go well the first time. Whereas a lot of artists don't have the luxury to be like, oh, I was in a band before and it went like really well or really poorly. Right. And I had these boundaries that I like had already set from being the singer, or even just sharing the control with somebody else. And I learned through that kind of what I wanted and what I didn't want. And it gave me like a leg up and a little bit more of a foundation, I think, to to build this the way that I wanted to, and to incorporate the people that I really cared about and who I think got what I was trying to do at the early stages of the Elijah Woods path of this.
You mentioned that you were producing before and she was the main vocal. So when you start
the only vocals, I wasn't singing.
Yeah. So when you're shifting from being a duo to a solo artist and now you're using your vocals, was there fear around that? Like what was going through your head when you kind of made that decision?
I think, a number of things. One, I was writing a lot of music at that time, and I think I'd gone through outside of that relationship, I'd gone through my own relationship and a breakup kind of a year prior. And I had a lot of these stories and songs that like nobody else wanted to sing because they were like really specific to me. And I started recording my voice on Elijah Woods, Jamie Fine songs as like reference for her to sing, like, sing this harmony part or sing this thing. And I started using my voice as a tool, which is something that I hadn't done outside of like a songwriting room before. And I was a good enough engineer, like a vocal producer, that I could make myself sound convincing, but I never liked the sound of my voice. And I was like, I didn't care to hear it sing anything. And then when the storytelling got more real and personal, I was like, nobody's going to sing these songs. They're too specific. It's like about me like hopping out of my ex-girlfriend's window at 8 a.m. so that I wouldn't get caught sleeping over her place. Like it was like specific things like that where I was like, nobody's going to say that. And for me to be convincing, I have to say the story. So COVID was very good to me in the way that I left that record label and that deal really scot-free. We washed our hands of it and it was like amazing. And it was very amicable. And I kind of had a fresh slate. I couldn't release music for a year because I was like waiting to get out of this deal. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? And then COVID happened and I had to be locked inside for a year. And my now wife and I had just started dating, and I feel so grateful for that because she had to listen to me go through the early stages of learning how to sing, which is so naked and vulnerable and horrible, like horrible. And actually I was living with my brother at the time too. It's hilarious. They're both here now. But they heard just the worst of it, me yelling through a microphone, just trying to learn how to figure this out. And I spent hours and hours and hours on YouTube, but I set a goal for myself being like, I'll release a song at the end of this year. I don't know what the hell it's going to sound like. I don't know if it's going to be super affected or really weird or really different, but I'll figure it out. And then that first song turned into a song called Lights. And Lights was like my story of this relationship that had ended a couple years prior and my feelings around that. And I didn't really know where it was going to go. Like I had zero clue if people were going to like it or if like it was going to be a vibe, but I really put a lot of energy into like I sent notes to all the people I knew in radio, and like I promoted it a ton on social media, and at the time TikTok was kind of booming and the whole thing. So I had this really weird platform and it felt like a perfect storm of things where I was like, oh shit, this could really happen. Like I could really do this, but it was so nonchalant and so not thought out. I was just like, I like music and I want to make music and I hope people like it. And the response was like enough to give me confidence.
Baby, I know this might sound crazy when I drive by your place lately. The lights keep coming on. Why the lights keep coming on? Oh yeah, been 6 months since I saw you, and I know we're moving on. Yeah, the lights keep coming on. Why the lights keep coming on.
I mean, yeah, they liked it because you've had incredible solo success since. Your songs, Fingers Crossed, Everything, Everywhere, Always, and of course, 24/7, 365, which was such a monster hit. So what was that feeling for you? You know, like you're coming from this space of like teaching yourself how to sing, you know, kind of throwing things and just seeing if it'll work, to having viral success. What did that feel like?
I mean, strange, but also when you're in it, you don't really realize, like what's happening. You're kind of just like, oh, this thing is working, so I just have to keep going, and you're just like treading water. And then I think when you're out of that feeling, then you can look at it and be like, oh wow, that was really crazy or really bad or really good or whatever. I think those songs for me, all of them were kind of slow burns, which is kind of cool. And like, I've kind of looked at my career that way, and I've stopped looking at things in terms of like immediate viral success. Cause there's times where like 24/7, for example, where we wrote that chorus. I wrote it with a friend of mine at the time, and I wrote it in 20 minutes. And I was like, immediately when we wrote it, I was like, something really sticky here. I like know for a fact this is going to work on the internet, and I knew like the visual treatment and the whole thing.
Ain't an hour that rolls by. I love you 24/7, 365. Give you my name if you wanted to. Give to my heart if you wanted to. And I hope
posted it online, and the next day it had like 6 million views. And I was like, amazing. Like, that's incredible. That's really, really great. But the song didn't really start streaming that well. Like, it hit its peak like a year and a half later. And like, it's still crushing and doing its thing. And like, it's part of the reason why I can live here. Like, it's like, it's effectively changed my life for tour in Asia and the whole thing. But then there's other songs like Everything Everywhere Always that came out in 2022. And I wrote it maybe 6 months or so before. Didn't think a lot of it other than I really liked it. The song came out. It was doing like, I don't even know, 10,000 streams a day, which is like fine. And like, it's like a decent release for like an independent artist and whatever. And then out of nowhere, it just kind of like kept building. And I didn't promote it at all. And then people would start singing it at shows and like the whole thing. And then it started doing like 100,000 streams a day. And I was like, oh my God, like this is kind of like a quasi sleeper hit. And it just stayed there forever. That for me feels better than the, oh my God, this is a huge hit. And then nobody cares anymore. Because it feels like I'm creating something that at least somebody likes, or like somebody at least thinks about beyond this moment of being presented something. I think with TikTok and with Instagram, I'm so grateful for it because it's like part of the reason I can do what I can do. But I think with that, this culture gets created where things are very immediate and like you live with them for 2 weeks and like you listen to the song a million times and you're over it. Like and then I'm done. Like I can't, and like love the song, can't hear Beautiful Things again. Like like one of my favorites, and like Benson's incredible and all the people that wrote that song are incredible, but like I've heard it 100,000 times now. So I'm done with it. But I think he's really great. You know what I mean? And I'm bought into him, and I hope that that's what I can create is the feeling around me rather than just a moment and success in songs.
Yeah. And you just released your new single, Could You Love Me? Yeah. Could you take us into where that song came from emotionally?
Yeah. So I wrote that during one of the first few months here. We had gone to Palm Springs to evacuate because of the fires. And it was, if you don't know, there's crazy wildfires in LA. I'm sure you saw them.
You moved here during a crazy time.
Wild, crazy. We were here in October, and then I had to leave, and then we came back, and then we went back home for Christmas, and then we had just come back. I think we got back like January 2nd or something. And the wildfires were like the 6th. Whatever it was. And our friend had come to evacuate her place because she lives like by Runyon, and she had come here. And we were like, it's kind of sketchy, and there's like ash falling from the sky. And I was like, is this place going to go up in flames? Because it's like an older house. And I'm like, this is going to be a tinderbox if this goes up. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm not sleeping. Let's just leave. Like, let's just we'll go to Palm Springs, whatever. And then it ended up being that our mutual friend had other friends who were staying there, and we got to the hotel, and they ended up upgrading us to this like huge suite because they had no availability for like dirt cheap. So we ended up in this huge 4-bedroom place with myself, my wife, and then one of our other friends. And then she brought 2 of our other friends who just like happened to be Esty from Haim, and then also Nicole, who's this like lovely TV writer. And it was like this like hilarious little friendship of houses. And Palm Springs in that time was like very weird because it was like Grammy week, like everybody was there,
right?
And it was something I hadn't experienced before, because I was like, oh my God, this is like really I don't know, it's just like weird. It felt like COVID again, because like it was like everyone's like escaping and everyone's kind of on edge, but everyone's like, oh, like what's up? Like let's be good humans to each other, because it's like this is a very weird time.
Yeah.
So we ended up in this house with these people, and we all just like hit it off and had like the best weekend ever, which was so guilt ridden because you're like, oh, people's houses are burning down, but we're like, let's make the best of this, and we hung out and whatever. And I brought a guitar, and we were sitting on the balcony having wine one day, and we were talking about a mutual friend of ours who we'd had like a really kind of nasty experience with recently. Oh, and I mean, this life, it's just friendships.
Unfortunately, it is.
Fucking pain in the ass. Yeah. That's why I'm just a loner now.
Shutting everybody off.
Yeah, this is it. This is the last interview ever. I'm gonna go be Bon Iver, just recluse in the woods. But yeah, we were talking about a mutual friend of ours, and just something like I'd gone through in the last kind of year, and it was a story about that, and it was a story about like somebody who I would frame as a narcissist, and somebody who I would frame as like, no matter what you do, you'll always put yourself first, and it's not about the relationship, it's about what you need from me. And that song was really just a reflection of that, and it was a combination of my stories as well as a few of our other friends' stories, and we kind of threw it together. I came back here. after the fires had sort of settled. And I have a studio at the back here, and I just recorded it within like a week and then turned it around. And I was like, this is really good. This is exactly what I want to say right now. Sonically, it was where I wanted to live, in this kind of like mid-tempo, vibey pocket with like a nice emotional top line over it. And it felt like a really great jump off point for this kind of next chapter of music. So I was like, let's just put it out. So I put it out on my birthday on Feb 28th. Yeah.
Would you call me up just to ask how I'm doing? 'Cause you're just for once think of someone but you, because I'm there sincerely. Who are you? I can never tell. Could you love me like you love yourself?
So let's talk about this next chapter. Obviously, you're working on a new album.
What
can you tell us? What can fans expect?
I think the most cliche thing in the world is when artists are like, yo, this is the best music I've ever made.
Yeah.
So I won't say that. I will say, I had a really wild journey in the last year was extremely whirlwind for me. And I put out like 18 songs or 15 songs or something ridiculous. I think it was 15 songs. And they were like a reflection of that time period for me. I was like really chaotic mentally. I'd gone through this like really nasty friend breakup, and it got really toxic. And then on top of that, I went to like Asia and had like the best tour of my life. And then I got married and like went on my honeymoon and moved across the country and got a dog and like all this stuff. And like everything could have happened. And on top of that, I got sick for like 3 months. Like it was like the weirdest year possible. So last year I dealt with all that, and then I wrote a bunch of music about that like chaotic feeling. And then I think when I look at those songs, they reflect that for me. This chapter of things feels like a coming home for me, and it feels like a lot more settled and a lot more me than I think last year was. 'Cause I think last year was about me experimenting and like finding the boundaries of like my humanity and my songwriting, and opening the doors up to new producers and songwriters and that sort of thing. And like this next project has really been a reflection on that last year, as well as a huge coming home sonically for me. So it's a lot warmer, a lot lighter, and a lot more maybe reflective of how I feel today, which is like very light and warm and positive. It's like, it's been a lot of work. I've never made an album before, and to do it in the way that I wanted to do it, I was like, I don't want to make a debut album that is just like a collection of a bunch of really good songs, or like even shitty songs, like whatever, however you end up seeing it. I wanted to make it feel like something. And I wanted to, like, my favorite albums are like Casey, Golden Hour, and like Harry Styles, which one is it? The Harry's House, or like what's the other one? Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Like classic. The albums that feel top to bottom like, oh, I could listen to this and I'm experiencing it with you, and I know the story you're trying to tell. Or like Melodrama by Lorde is an incredible thing. It's like the whole thing is about her at a party and this whole experience of the thing. So that's what I wanted to create, and I battled with it for years and years and years, because I was like, how do I do this? Like, how do I collect a body of songs that doesn't feel boring to listen to, but also feels like new and inventive and whatever? And I finally cracked it, which is so relieving. And now it's like, okay, shit, now the actual work starts. So you have to like redo a bunch of these songs and produce them out and the whole thing. Yeah. So I'm in that process right now. So that is why I haven't been on social media in a month, because I've just been killing myself in the studio every day and like trying to do the thing. But it's been really, really good, and I've learned a lot about myself, I think, sonically. And I found a level of identity in my music that I don't think I've found yet, which is maybe a good way to leave it, because I hate saying, oh, this is better than anything. It's just like, it's more me than anything before.
Do you have a release date yet?
I do. It's not firm, but I will say it's in very early fall.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. It's happening.
Just to give the fans a little idea when to expect it.
Yeah. And more music before then too. There's at least another 2 coming up before then.
Okay. Do you have a release for another single?
I do.
Anytime soon?
I do. We're just filming the first piece of content. So when I get this piece of content down, then I'll know. But so it's pre-summer. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. A few years ago, you did a flip of Justin Bieber's song "Too Much," which was really freaking good, by the way. I was like, okay, because sometimes you're like, let me hear this, and I was like, wait, no, this is actually really good.
Hell yeah! I think that song's so special.
It is,
and I don't know if it got the recognition that it deserves. Yeah. It was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, your flip though was really good. Is what I was saying. Like, I was like, that was really, really good.
Don't wanna open up, I'm scared I'll get too close. 'Cause if I reach out and you start letting go, all I want is me and you to turn to us. is that too much, oh? 'Cause I've been looking everywhere from here to Mars, but I never thought I'd catch a shooting star. Oh, 1,000 years with you still ain't enough. Or is that too much, oh?
But in the caption, you said to tag him and tell him that you're Canadian. Did the message ever get to Justin? Has there been a connection there yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I've never even met him. Like, not even like at an event. I've never even seen him.
Yeah.
So I think I saw him at a concert one time in Toronto or something. Like, I paid a ticket and went to go see him play. But no links there. He's one of those, I think, just ever elusive AAA people where you're just like a Taylor Swift, just like, are you a human? Are you a robot? Yeah. Are you like, do you exist? Are you a figment of my imagination? Like, I put him on the same sort of scale as that Taylor, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran thing, where it's like, I don't know that I'll ever see you, and if I do, you're gonna have 8 security around you.
Right.
You know
well, you almost saw Harry Styles. You were saying.
I know, almost. Yeah, dude. Actually, you want to hear the worst Harry Styles story? Was
yes.
it scourged my existence. So I played Hyde Park in London, which is like this really cool summer sort of like series of festivals in London. And it was my first time playing it. And I was very, very excited. It was my first time playing in London, period. And I was playing on the Saturday, and I didn't research anything about the festival because, like, I like to kind of go into festivals kind of blank and then show up the day of and see what the vibe is. Like, especially because I've been playing them for so long, I'm not like researching who's going to be there and like if I got to meet anybody, whatever. It's like I'll be in the green room and I'm like, oh shit, I saw so and so's trailer. Like, I should go say hey and introduce myself, whatever. Because I like to be like less prepared because then you're not like anxious about meeting anybody, whatever. Yeah. Zero research about the festival. My brother and I went to London. He came with me, and then my other brother came and met us, and we ended up doing this like Michelin star restaurant, which is like something that I love to do once a year, and like just go to a really nice restaurant. This is a Mexican spot, and they had a mezcal tasting. This is on the Friday night, and I was like, I've never done that. I was like, I've never done a mezcal tasting. I've done a wine tasting before. Do not recommend a mezcal tasting. We had 14 shots of mezcal.
Oh my God.
And for context, mezcal is like so smoky and like all over the place. It's like this amazing Mexican dinner. I remember 0 things of what I had. Like not one dish. I don't remember.
Michelin like food just went out the window. Yeah.
See you later. God knows how much the bill was. Like, I don't even remember. We were hammered, and like I don't drink a ton. Like, it's like it was like a once in a whatever. We're in London. Let's go to this cool restaurant. Yeah. We were lost, like loser drunk. And yeah, it was insane. So this is Friday night, and we leave that venue. The next morning I wake up and I'm just like on my phone checking Twitter, and I was like, oh my God, Stevie Nicks played Hyde Park last night. It's like, this is my favorite artist in the world. It's like Fleetwood Mac is like my beacon for success. And then I was like, well, that's cool. And then I was like doing a bit more research, and I was like, oh, Harry Styles came out and sang Landslide at the festival that I could have been at last night. This iconic duo, 2 of my favorite people in the world, and I was loser drunk. Couldn't even see straight, so hungover, and I resented myself for the rest of the day. And the festival ended up going great, whatever, but I could have seen my 2 favorite people there and likely have met them because we would have been backstage and the whole thing. I missed it.
Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I built my life around you, but the time is older, children get older, I'm getting older too.
Well, if it's any consolation, old school Stevie would have approved of that night. Because,
I think so.
You know,
I think so.
if anyone knows anything about Stevie Nicks, like she would have been at that mezcal dinner too.
I think so too.
You know,
I think she would have skipped.
Days.
Yeah, she would have skipped it. God knows. I mean, I hear she's up until like 4:30 in the morning most nights now too. So, like, just doing like witchcraft. Like, not even.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's.
I wish she would do a little witchcraft.
The coolest.
Like, she's amazing. Yeah,
the coolest.
That's so funny. Yeah, because we were talking about Harry Styles and his marathon run and his impressive time, and we're just speaking from the perspective of being an entertainer and how a lot of people don't realize that a lot of you guys have like these athlete staminas. Like, you think of like Taylor Swift or Harry Styles, they have like such a crazy stamina, and you have to have that on stage. Can you kind of speak more to what the breath control, just the energy it really takes to be a performer?
Yeah, I mean, don't put me on that pedestal because I cannot sing for 3.5 hours 100 nights a year. That's insane. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how Taylor has done this tour, and also, like, knock on wood, not getting sick. Like, that's insane. I don't know how I think she had one canceled show, and it was because of like a bomb threat or something like that. Like it was like that's the only reason, which is just blows my mind. So huge kudos. Don't put me anywhere near that level. I take it very seriously, and I think a lot of singers, what you realize, especially nowadays, like it's not like the same thing as the 70s or the 80s where people were just like partying all the time. Like you look at that Motley Crue documentary, and you're like, these guys are like buckled the entire time, and they like show up, and they might miss a show or just like miss lyrics or whatever. A lot of artists now, and especially like a lot of like peers of mine, it's like everyone's pretty dialed in. Like everyone's very health conscious, and like you look at your body like an asset. It's like, how am I going to protect this? Because I don't want to disappoint my fans who are paying money to come out and do that. So, yeah, I mean, when I tour and when I'm in that vibe of things, even when I'm recording and stuff, it's like I run most mornings and I make sure that my lungs are in great shape. But it is one of those things where, like last year before I went to Asia, it's like I'll spend 8 weeks prepping my body for that. And it's like eating reasonably the same meal every day, making sure that like I'm getting enough sunlight, making sure that I'm getting good sleep every night. Like I try to be in bed by like 11 o'clock, like latest when I'm prepping for tour, and I'm up every day at like 6 a.m. and I'll go for a run and like do the thing. And like, it is something that you really take stock in, because especially as you get older too, you start feeling it a little bit more. Not like I'm 50 or anything, but like, I don't know. I just noticed the difference between like when I was 20 years old and now. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like I have to invest into this because I want to look young, and I want to look the thing, and I want to make sure that I'm giving everybody the best that I can.
Nice. You were recently the cover star of Esquire Singapore, which is very freaking cool.
Star is the keyword.
Yes,
cover star.
Cover star. You said beyond music, you're interested in tech and even considered alternative careers like becoming a YouTube tech reviewer or barista. Is that true?
I do every 20 minutes. I'm like, let me reinvent myself.
Yeah, fair.
And you know what? Actually, I take back I shouldn't have said the barista thing because I didn't make either one of you a coffee. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, I will after this. Are you into coffee? Do you like coffee?
I do love coffee. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got you.
Next time.
I do love making coffee. I'm like dialed in on my like beans.
Do you do the
art
art and everything?
I can't do the art yet.
Okay.
I'm working on the art, but I don't care about the art, so I never do it. But when I have friends over, I'm like, shit, I should really learn how to do this. Like as a host, I should do the thing.
So you can flex on them.
I know, but I do the whole milk steaming, the whole situation. I get a little cinnamon in there, a little salt sometimes. Like it's a whole routine. I got a whole thing. I got the shaker cup, the situation. This is my little coffee machine over there.
It's a fancy machine.
It's a good one. Yeah. It's like it's the one. But it was, I think, the first gift my wife and I got for each other, like together, and it was the best purchase I ever made. It was great. The tech review thing is like, I'm just like obsessed with tech. Like, I mean, even just like looking at these cameras, I'm like, I know all the models and I know what lenses we're using and the whole thing. And like, for me, it's a proponent of like, I love to film myself and I love to like learn new things. It's also, for me, maybe not so much anymore, but like as a young adult, when I like started making money, it's a fun excuse for me to like buy things that aren't like a Chanel bag or like that whole thing. It's like I go out and buy a camera because it has a practical use, like that whole thing. And now I like have most of the things I need, and I'm like, it's kind of boring. Like they're all the same. They all look the same.
Now it's Chanel bags.
Yeah, now it's Chanel bags. No. Now it's like this match thing. Yeah. Like it's like a stupid house decor where I'm like, oh, that's really cute. I'm like, it's so boring. But yeah, I mean, I do love tech. I still watch all the reviews, and like anytime a new laptop comes out, I'll be tuned into that whole thing. So there's a world where, I don't know, in a parallel universe, that's what I would do. Cause like I love just like, I don't know, new technology. Like I was like one of the first people in North America to buy one of those Vision Pro things. Instantly regretted it. Waste of money. Have you ever seen this?
Did you ever use it?
No, I sold it. It was like, if Apple, Tim Cook, if you're watching this, what a waste. What a waste. $5,000 for this literal hunk of metal that you put in your head. Coolest tech I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. You put it on and you're like, oh my God, I'm using my hands to like do this mouse. And then you realize you can't do anything in it. And it's just like this huge metal thing. You get like a headache wearing. It's horrible.
Oh.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah.
No.
Have you seen the Ray-Ban glasses?
Yeah, those look cool.
Those look kind of cool.
I haven't tried them yet because I'm like, what am I going to use that for?
Yeah.
And like they got cameras in them, so I don't want people to feel like I'm recording them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely cool. Like that's like, I love that idea. But I still think it's like the other piece that I realized about the or like one of those Meta Quest things or like the Vision Pro things, it's all pretty lonely. Like you're just like, you're there, you're doing it by yourself, and like you can't bring it to a party. It's like you're not like having your friends over and you're having like a Vision Pro night. It's like it's so dark. Like it's just like I don't want to hang out by myself here.
Very Black Mirror.
Very Black Mirror. Have you seen the new episode with the guy wearing it? And I was like, this is real. This isn't even a farce. This is actually happening. That was me 20 minutes ago. like an idiot.
I'm glad you came back to the light.
Yeah, I show up wearing it to the interview.
It'd be
Incredible.
hilarious, honestly. I do have to ask this because I feel like a lot of people probably make this mistake. But did you have any funny run-ins with like Elijah Wood?
Never.
Ever?
Never. I've never even heard that before.
Yeah.
No, it's it's one of those things. I mean, even at the start of my career, like when we were talking about what my name was going to be.
Yeah.
When I was born, he didn't exist. Like he was like nobody. He was like, not that I'm older than him, but he was, I think he had one credit as a kid. So it was like, it wasn't that thing. So my mom didn't know, but that's my like legal name is Elijah Woods with an S. And then Lord of the Rings happened, obviously. And then people were like, "What's up, Frodo?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, bro." So as a kid, I went by Eli. Yeah, because I was like, I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
But at every airport now, they'll like read my passport and they look up all excited and then they see me and they're like, whatever. But I was trying to get him. I put out a song called Elijah Wood last year of his namesake, and I was trying to get him in the music video. And we got his contact through my agent and the whole thing. I don't have any mutual friends with him. I've heard he's lovely. So if he sees this, and I hope you do, because we have a little bit of beef. He ghosted me. He didn't respond to my messages because I thought it would be so funny. The idea for the music video was to be in like a motel bathroom, and it was like the whole song is about me having an existential crisis and me like losing my identity, and me walking into this like motel bathroom and having like a shaver in my hand. And then starting to shave my head, and then like looking down and then looking up, and then for the rest of the video it was him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which is so good.
Elijah, please make this happen.
Yeah, incredible.
Hey there, Elijah, would you like to go and live a different life where you're the actor from that movie with the ring?
At some point in my career, there will be like a funny SNL late night thing, and I'm hopeful that it's within the next year.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I think you're on your way to that.
I hope so. Yeah. Because I think it's low hanging fruit. Like it's easy writing.
I know. It's so, I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
But
not to slight him too. I don't know if Gen Z knows who he is, which is kind of fire.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you guys are kind of in different pockets.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's so rich that he doesn't need to do anything from Lord of the Rings, but it's also cool because he does them socials. So like anybody tagging, like I get tagged in 5 Lord of the Ring things a day. They'll be like, yeah, like how going to Mordor with Elijah Wood, Summit, kind of whatever fan con or whatever it is. And I'm like, hell yeah, brother. Like I respond to all of them.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, it's super great. Yeah.
So what's coming up next for you in this next year? What does it look like for you?
This next year is the next month or so is finishing music. So like the next kind of couple weeks, I'm trying to have all this wrapped by early May. And then I don't even know what the date is today, April something. I'm trying to have all this wrapped by early May, get my head out of the writing piece of this, have that album wrapped, and then promo. And I'm going on tour in the summer. I'm going back to Asia, and then hopefully doing North America in the fall. I'm waiting to announce that yet. But yeah, my whole goal this year is to make sure that I'm giving this music that I feel so strongly about the best platform. Because I think there's a million ways to get out of like not actually promoting anything. Like it's like you put out a song and you're like, you hope it does what everything everywhere always does, where it's like a year later it's like it's got a bunch of streams and people really care about whatever. I'm taking a very different approach with this music. It's like I really care about it and I really want to make it known. So I'm really investing my own time and my money into making sure that people hear the stuff that I really care about. So that's at the forefront for me. A lot more tour dates coming up, a few shows in Canada coming up, and then in the fall there'll be LA, New York, London, Toronto, and then a few more US dates that I'm waiting to announce. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So hopefully bookending this and then moving on to the next chapter, which is making me famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of famous, last question, because you've had obviously such big viral songs. Have there been any famous people that have like reached out or like, said like, oh, like I like your music?
Definitely. I mean, the weirdest one for me and like the coolest one for me was Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. Yeah. We became friends a couple of years ago, and that was really funny because it was like, in what world would we exist in the same conversation? And he's the best. He's so funny and so hilarious, and that was really cool when we spent a couple weeks at his place writing some music and the whole thing. And he actually co-wrote one of my first songs called "Someone New."
We'll both find someone new.
Which was really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, like there's people all the time, and like the coolest ones for me generally are like I mean, sometimes there's somebody from North America where you're like, oh, like that was like a big star or whatever. And I hate name dropping the whole thing, but like, no, I won't do it.
We'll pick it up.
You can find it yourself.
Yeah.
So go find it yourself. But yeah, sometimes people reach out or you get a follow from somebody. You're like, oh my God, like that's my idol, whatever. Not Elijah Wood though. Thanks. The coolest ones for me are people that I've no idea exist, people in Korea or people in Thailand where you're like, oh, this person has 68 million followers and they've used my song like 15 times in their videos. And it was like the most random things. And they'll message being like, yo, I heard your song and like, this is like really, really special and whatever. I'm like, I have no clue who you are. And it's like the biggest movie star in Korea. And you're like, cool. I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. And like, this is incredible. And like, I think that's what's so cool about social media and TikTok is like, I don't have to be in that place. I don't even have to speak the language. And then all of a sudden this like song translates through language, through borders, through everything. And then it becomes this thing that is like larger than me. So that's a cool piece of this when you're like, this is cool. And you think I'm important, which is hilarious.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Elijah. We're so excited for the new album and we're going to be on the lookout for that. And thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Yeah.